Hey everyone. So what I'd like to do today is to show you 4 images that I took on a recent trip to Death Valley. For one reason or another, these 4 photos didn't make it into the 3 videos that I posted, but I really like them, and what I'd like to do is to show you the photos, talk you through what I was trying to do when I was out there, and would love to get your feedback on what you think. So this first shot was taken on day 2 of my trip. I took a recon down to the main valley, not far from a place called Furnace Creek, to where I thought there'd be some mud cracks. That was one of the main intentions of going to this area, was to find these mud cracks. So this was a scouting trip. I was actually planning, if I found anything, I was planning on coming back that sunset to get a sunset shot. So I went down to the playa, found these gorgeous mud cracks, and took this test shot, which I wasn't expecting it to come out as well as it did. So the rock that you see, the main focal point, wasn't actually there. I had to move it about 4 feet because I wanted the rock to be at the end of that leading line coming through. I had an ND grad on as well. The sky was quite a bit brighter than that, and it actually sort of was too bright for the image, so I put an ND grad in there to bring the sky down a bit and sort of balance out the exposure. But I really like this shot. I like the color of the playa. I like the leading line going up to the dark rock. I actually cropped this a little bit, and I just like the golden hues on the playa, as well as the sort of the vastness of nothing going way over to the Panamint Range in the distance. So this, as I mentioned, was a test shot, but I really think it came out quite well, and it's definitely one of my keepers. So my second shot is from a location very close to the first shot. So I came back at sunset, as I mentioned, and I took my intention was to take a shot sort of looking towards the sun after it had gone down behind the mountain, and that's actually the one that I published in my video, and you can see that one here. And I do like that shot, but this is another sort of shot I took from the other direction. There was some obviously some pink skies. Didn't really think much of this image when I first took it, and when I got it back and looked at it on the big screen in the computer and saw the detail in the texture of the rocks, of the mud as it goes off, it really grew on me, and it just really shows the vastness of Death Valley and the solitude. There's something about this image that just says nothingness, and it's one of those images that every time I look at it, I like it more and more. So this is my second image that didn't make it into my videos. I really like it. So this is my third image I'd like to share, and this was taken on day 3 of my trip. I went out in the morning to Mesquite Dunes, and it was an absolutely beautiful, still morning, and I walked out towards the east of the dunes where there's a lot less people, and I got the shot I was hoping for, and was actually walking back towards the car, and by now the sun had come up. What happens in these kind of environments is as soon as the sun gets a little bit above the horizon, everything becomes super contrasty and with crazy blacks and crazy yellows, and just it's almost just too intense for photography. So I was walking back to the car, and I took a couple of shots that I just thought, well, maybe they'd look good black and white. Didn't really think too much of it. And this is one of those shots that I cropped down a little bit. It actually had the mountains in the background, which I felt were too distracting. I sort of cropped it down to an image that kind of, obviously you have the wonderful textures in the foreground going off into the dunes, and you could probably see for, I don't know, maybe 100 yards in this shot. The distance is kind of hard to tell, but it doesn't really matter. The main thing is just it's all about contrast and texture, and I really like this image. I think it's a really great black and white. So my final image is this one here, and this was taken from the salt marshes down in Death Valley. Death Valley is really interesting because in the main valley you have the sand dunes, you have the salt flats, you have the salt marshes, you have the mud cracks, all along this one gigantic flat playa. It just depends on what location you go to. And this was a photo that I'd already looked through all my photos maybe 3 or 4 times over the course of the last 6 weeks and thought I'd pulled out all the best ones. And then I was just happened to be sort of looking at them again, and I came across this one. But then I just went into Lightroom, turned it into black and white, made a few minor adjustments to the contrast and the clarity, and came out with this, and I think it's really great. It's called Together to Infinity, and it shows two of the many, I don't want to call them rivers, but they're just sort of flows of really briny, salty water that crisscross the playa, and these two came together off into the distance, and this came out great. So it just goes to show, to always come back and look at your photos many days, weeks and months after you've been on a trip, because for me anyway, photos sort of grow on me, just like music. I often hear a song and don't like it, and then I will play it a few times, look at it a few times, and then it starts to grow on me. And this is definitely one of those images that I didn't think I had, and it's actually probably one of my top 3 or 4 from the whole trip. So that's my review of 4 images that I didn't really think I had. What do you think? Which one do you like? I'd love to know. Please leave a comment below and let me know. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed the 4 images. Please let me know which one was your favorite, if you have one. So if you enjoy the kind of content that I'm putting out, I'd love it if you would subscribe or give me a thumbs up, or perhaps even share one of my videos. That'd be awesome. Coming up, I've got a trip to Joshua Tree National Park. I've only got one evening and one night, but I've planned it so it's a new moon, so hopefully I can, the objective is to try and get some Milky Way shots. And later on in the summer, then a trip to Zion or perhaps the Southern Sierra. So I'll be taking my camera along for both those two as well. All right, that's it. See you on the next one. Bye.